Hi everyone, we're live again with the TittyMag. And last week we had our first artist performance by one of the female artists. We do that every month. But now we're having our regular Titty Talk, and you may know, we normally do our Titty Talks offline, but because of the situation we are in, we're doing them online weekly, every Thursday for like half an hour, 40 minutes, depends on the conversations we have, from 7:30 till like 8 o'clock, 8:15. Today we're gonna have a conversation with three amazing people, Fatma, Elfie, and Tessel. And we're gonna talk about like the theme philosophy, and it's kind of like, of course, a very big theme and topic, but we're gonna discuss like, sorry, that's the cat you're hearing right now. But we're gonna talk about like what could we call the thing we're currently in, but also in what way are you inspired? How are they being inspired by what like they do and what they see, what they hear from others. In the meantime, I'm getting distracted by my kitten here on the floor, who's seeking for attention. But let's start and let's kick off with our first guest. She's amazing. She's a true inspiration. She's a creative, a female leadership coach, and she's busy with a lot of different stuff. I'm gonna grab her. Fatma, wait a second. I don't even know if people hear the cat like screaming in the meantime. Yeah!
Hey, it
How
worked.
are you?
I'm great. I got a kitty too, distracting me.
Uh, yeah, mine is like seeking for attention.
Yeah,
She's screaming a bit as well.
mine will do that in a minute. He's slowly getting closer to me.
Hey, but how do you feel?
Right now,
Yeah?
yeah, right now I feel very excited. I'm a bit nervous. I to be here. I'm so excited. Um, and I'm very empowered because I'm in the middle of my graduation for my training. And
Yeah.
today was the very first day that I really felt productive and I was able to just wrap everything up. And so I'm relieved and excited that I'm here. Well, not
Because
physically.
we're talking about like philosophy, and like can you tell us something a bit on the about the project you're working on?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So it's called I Am Mother, and it is an exploration basically. And I've worked on it for the past 9 months. The initial idea was to create a theater play about transgenerational trauma, different levels in my family, about my mother, my grandmother, myself, going through a lot and finding myself as another. Like I'm Turkish. I grew up in the Netherlands. I always felt I'm different than everyone else, and the exploration was how I was able to find I am mothering myself, how I'm able to belong to myself and not anyone outside of me. And because of the Corona crisis, I had to pivot it into something else. So it turned out to be a virtual session, like we're doing now with you, and it is an exploration, and the whole corona crisis itself invited me to be so flexible and easy, and to move along with whatever's happening in society. So it is an exploration of how I'm othered by society, by culture, by myself even. And I feel like we're in the same scenario right now as a society, where we're all living, we're in isolation, we're being othered from each other, not really stimulated to be together. And how can you mother yourself in that weird situation? So yeah, I hope I'm not too vague. It was a process
No.
from othering to mothering.
Did you feel like because when does like a project like this, when you can, yeah, you can keep on going, you know, like it doesn't stop. But you, yeah, of course you decide when it stops, but eventually it has no ending.
Yeah, it has no ending. And in the beginning, I really experienced this, you know, seeking for perfection. And I could indeed continue with writing the script, writing the visualization of how it should turn out. And at some point, I think because of Corona, I was reminded of the key purpose of the program. The key purpose of the theatrical play is to invite women to think of their own othering and to learn how to mother themselves. So I asked myself, what is truly needed right now? And to just let go of all the perfection. And in that I found the perfection. The answer was to just what is really needed right now, and just drop everything else. So
Yeah.
with that, I dropped the whole idea of working in a theater. I let go of all my meetings and my planning on getting a subsidy and talking to, you know, theater agents, for example. And I just thought of, okay, how can I deliver the same message in a different form. And really, not right now, I look back at having had 4 sessions already, reaching over 70 different women from all over the world. And because of Corona, the whole virtual stage opened up. So I was able to really bring women together from all different cultures, religions, countries, and that in itself is the perfection. So
How was that? Like when, like, I can imagine it's like a very interesting and like also like such an impressive like experience as well.
it was very comforting, and explain why. Because, so as I said, I felt other my entire life. Growing up in the Netherlands as a Turkish Alevi, you know, being super creative. I was an actress for a very long time during my whole school period. I felt other all the time. And through this project, I'm inviting women to share their deepest pains, their deepest traumas, their biggest wins in life. And
Yeah.
while everyone was sharing this deepest vulnerable story, it became very clear that all the women, wherever you are from, we all suffer from the same pain. And I'm smiling while I'm saying it because it's just, it's so comforting and supporting to hear that it doesn't matter how old you are, it doesn't matter where you're from, it doesn't matter what traumas you experienced. In the end, we're all searching for validation to belong to ourselves. So to have had this experience with the women from all of different places, everyone with a unique story, it brought me sisterhood, really, and a huge trust and hope that we're gonna get there. We're gonna get to a world where we all accept each other, where there's no, you know, discrimination, or there's no isolation. Yeah, I'm hopeful, very hopeful.
And is it something we realize ourselves like even more because we're in a situation that, of course, a lot of people have different situations, like no safe housing, no like roof above their head even, but still there's something that people can um, kind of like have the same experience but like in different levels. So but do you think like it brings us more together, or you see the differences even more? What's your idea on
Well,
that?
I think it's both. And the question you asked me before was like, what is this time that we're in telling us right now, or how can you get a grip or get a hold on what's happening outside? How I see it is that we're, you know, this transformation from a caterpillar into a butterfly.
Yeah.
And in between that phase, there is the caterpillar goes into this chrysalis, where chrysalis, I think it's called, where it's just in the cocoon. And if you, it looks very peaceful, right? But in the cocoon there's a lot of chaos going on. There's a lot of um destruction, there's a lot of new birth, there's so much going on at the same time, and eventually there's a beautiful butterfly coming out of it. However, it has to go through this huge transformation, let pieces of itself die, get more energy. So what I see is that the world right now is in that huge split. There is a big part of us that is being othered, sorry to repeat it once again, but or isolated and in huge crisis, and everything is just, it's super painful to see and to witness as well, because I'm privileged. I'm not in that state. It's very difficult to go through. And at the same time, there's a lot of people who are really convinced that we're gonna get better out of this. We're being to take pause, like the cocoon, the caterpillar has, it can't go anywhere until it's finished in that process, right? So I see it both happening. And yeah, I don't know. I really have no idea on how to go through it. I think everyone has their own path, and whatever you need will emerge for you in this process. Um, yeah, and above all, I just believe that we'll get better out of it as the whole humankind, as the whole society.
And what do you think, like, or what did you learn yourself? Like, we talked about a lot, but what did you learn yourself out of like the experiences you had with the women? Like, of course, a lot, but like, is there one key thing you would think of right now?
Yeah, the one thing that I learned, and it sounds very simple, right? But it's really about learning how to let go.
Yeah.
Um, so what I experienced is by letting go. So I'm pregnant right now. I'm in my 9th month of pregnancy, and I had to learn how to let go, because my body is just telling me what I need every single day, right? So I applied letting go of ego, letting go of perfectionism, letting go of all my skills as a project manager, with time planning and everything. Learning to let that go gave me the most beautiful outcome of my project, because before I would stick to my time planning and be super rigid and use lots of very masculine strategies, like competition, promoting, networking, and just going all in. However, because of my body and my energy levels, I wasn't able to do all of that. So I had to let go. And at some point I was anxious that I wouldn't be able to deliver this. However, I found out by letting go, it opened up lots of space to really listen to whatever was needed. So by listening, I realized a lot of women already were reaching out to me, and I didn't even had to reach out to all those women to get them as my audience and get them registered for my project, for example.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess the biggest lesson for me, both with my pregnancy and with the Corona crisis, is to learn how to let go of everything that was working for me in the past, and just be open to whatever emerges right now in front of me.
Is that something you would say and would advise other people as well who are like listening or watching right now?
Yeah. I want to be careful with giving advice, because, I would advise it to myself 5 years earlier. How I was at that time. I was, a project manager working on lots of events across in the United States. I would work on these big events for more than 1,000 people, and just work hours and hours and hours. And I would tell my 25-year-old self, like, hey, it's okay to just fuck it up sometimes, and
Yeah.
to be in the chaos sometimes, and just let go of that expectation or that image you want to hold on to do it perfectly, and to just deliver the results. Because by letting go, I really saw that if something's supposed to happen, it's gonna happen anyway. And maybe that sounds wishy-washy, and it's the universe and law of attraction and all that, but it's really like, if you have a vision, if you really have a purpose, and you know what you want, it will find its way, and you'll find your way effortlessly towards it, if pushing, which I would do when I was 25 years old, all the time.
Yeah, kind of like I can really identify what you're saying, because I think it's something that we or me, but I think a lot of other people I know, like we're trying to keep like in control of like everything we do, but some things you don't have control over, you know?
Exactly. And that is what the corona shows us. Like we if there if this situation was not here, we would be in control. And from one day to the other, it shows how much of control we actually have as human beings. We're super
Yeah.
vulnerable. We have to stick together. We have to consider each other. We have to take responsibility towards each other as well. Um, and So yeah, I think by learning how to let go of control, which is the essence of it, you also free yourself. You liberate yourself to be able to dance with whatever comes towards you. And yeah, it's maybe abstract if you have to deliver something very concrete, maybe it doesn't work. If you're like a a lawyer, or you're in the hospital and you really have you have to save a life, it's maybe not that easy to let go of control. However, I think for most of the cases, we can at least give ourselves some slack, give ourselves some breathing space, and not force and push through. I think that, yeah.
And like, but I can even myself as well, like sometimes it's difficult to let go. It feels like giving all the control you had, like I don't know, it feels like a bit like insecure perhaps, and a bit like scary as well. Like, do you have like advice for people if they want to like follow like the things and the stuff you just said, but like if they feel like insecure and sometimes, yeah, I think it's difficult if you're like a control freak, if you're used to like some kinds of schedules or stuff.
Yeah, I know. It is so, yeah, it freaked me out in the beginning too, what I would say is, the one question that comes to my mind right now is, what is the worst that can happen? What is the absolute worst that can happen if you, for example, let's say you're working 9 to 5 or 9 to 8, or you're just a, hustler.
Yeah.
What will happen if you don't send out that email tonight? What will happen if you don't reply that WhatsApp message right now? What will happen if what is the worst that can happen? And the answer is, you won't die.
Yeah.
Absolutely won't die. And I think that is the main driver behind the behavior, to have that control all the time, is because we're getting stressed, right? We're getting stressed and worried that we're not good enough, that we're, the insecurity is behind that say that facade of control. What will happen if you won't do it? Will you really die, or is it just another strategy for our minds to keep us busy and not feel what we're really feeling, and experience what we're really experiencing? And so I would say, yeah, ask yourself the question, what will happen if I don't do this?
Oh, someone is asking one question, by the way. What will happen if you don't follow the deadlines for things from school?
Yeah, that's such a good question. I don't think teachers will like me when I say this. Okay, you have to you at a certain in a certain frame or certain reality, you have to stick with the, yeah, you're a bad questioner. No, no, not bad. um you have to you committed to going to school, right? So the consequences of it are that you have to deliver to those deadlines. However, if I would say, if you experience huge resistance and huge issues or stress or challenges throughout the process of delivering a certain deliverable, I would say, look into that. Why is it causing you so much resistance? Are you having trouble? Do you need extra support? So answer the question, yes, you have to stick to those deadlines. However, if the deadline isn't realistic for you specifically, I would say, work on that and go have a conversation with your school, and
Yeah.
let go of the the conviction that we are all the same and we all have the same learning patterns. I don't believe in that. We all have a different way of processing things. So that's what I would have done if I would be me 20 years ago, if I would have had all the learnings that I have right now. Yeah, they won't change things for anyone. Yeah, I know. It's not that easy.
You should start a school, you know.
Yeah, I would love to. I would love to. I would love to, really.
Hey, Fatma, thank you so much for now. Everyone, if you want to know more about the project or even more about the amazing stuff you post, just follow our Instagram, and I'll talk to you soon. Or
Yes,
perhaps if you want to a little walk on a distance next week,
yes, I
let
would
me
love.
know.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Don't quit school.
All right. Well, that was Fatma. The next guest we're having is Elfie, and Elfie, another genius. She's a writer, she's a poet, a performer. She does Poet and Drag every Sunday. That's really great to watch. We're now gonna look her as well. Look her up. Da, 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 da. Thank you, Fatma. She responded, you can answer, by the way, your question. Yes!
Mother genius. Hi.
Hello!
Let me just put this thing a bit more.
How are you?
Ah, struggling with all the technologies. No, I'm Dutch. Very Dutch and not a natural blonde, as you can see, as this corona quarantine has shown and proven to the world. Unfortunately, I'm pretty good. How are you?
Yeah, good. I'm well, yeah, I'm fine. Well, I had like a little bit of a rough day with like, not to make it again a really like heavy conversation, but someone who I really cared about passed away last week, and I had like a funeral today, but I watched it on YouTube, which is like weird, but like the current situation we're in. So that was a bit strange. So my evening is talking with you, having coffee, and also red wine in combination of both. So,
God,
but
I'm
well,
so sorry to hear that. Was it someone close to you?
yeah, she was kind of like an well, not my biological aunt, but she was one of the best friends of my mother. So it was, yeah, I knew her my entire life. So it's kind of surreal and strange, but yeah, well.
Yeah, this new ritualizing in this new world, we're on the brink. I think this is such a historical time that we're facing, and we're not really realizing it, that we're changing society ourselves, changing, making new rituals. You know, as a playwright and a theater with a theater background, I think about traditional patterns that I can't go into. I can't go to a theater and play and do my stage, but in what ways can I bring a message across, and in what ways can you mourn and can you be together? That is very difficult, and I think we're both more communal and finding more individual rituals.
Yeah.
Did you find it comforting in the same way as it would have been in a classical church setting, or in a
It was like, it also felt like kind of voyeurism because you were looking at someone other's pain, you know? So it was like, I was looking at people who were feeling like horrible and sad and miserable all at the same time, and I was looking behind my computer in the kitchen. Yeah, it felt like the whole setting was like strange, you know? So yeah,
somehow
I don't
it's more
know.
truthful as well, that we are always performing a part of ourselves when we are communicating with people.
Yeah.
And now we are forced to communicate, to be
all these different parts of ourselves. Like, for example, if you go to school, you're students. If I hang out with my friends, I'm a wild friend. If I hang out with my boyfriend, I'm a good girlfriend. If I hang out with my mom, I'm the best child I can be. And now it's somehow compromised to one stage, one place and setting and time. And that's very interesting and maybe the most honest way of being. That death is just as banal as getting a cup of coffee in your kitchen or doing your dishes. That is also a ritual, doing your dishes. But somehow we pay more attention or elevate the ritual of saying goodbye or of mourning more than we do of doing the dishes. I always think I tried meditating for quite some time, and I've dabbled into the new age world, and I always thought there was this such an interesting fetishizing of rituals, that you needed the incense, that you needed the pan flute music, that you needed the one cushion, you know, the really expensive one with the buckwheat stuffed inside. Yeah, because otherwise you wouldn't be meditating, right? Why couldn't I sit like
or these
carpets and be enlightened? Yeah. Well, I got my fair share of crystals, so there you go. They're always here. I'm a little fetishist in many ways, so.
But like, but for you, like, I can imagine you're a performer. You're also like, you're a social person, but also like in your work, you get like energy, I guess, from your audience.
I do. And I think this is really the stepping stone for technological conversation like we're having right now. Is I think our generation, so the 30s, the 30ers, the 30ers, the 30ers, years and up, I don't know, you're somewhere up there. They've always seen the social media with a bit of fright and maybe like an ironic distance, because they're afraid to commit or somehow think it's vain. It's very Dutch to think these kind of things vain, to look at each other's face through a screen. But it's called social media. It is one of the most social things. The whole discourse of it being antisocial, being on your phone, I'm literally having conversations with people I actually want to talk to. So this is a reality. And last year, for example, I had a bit of a brush with a large audience because I wrote a column and I got a lot of death threats and bad feedback from an angry crowd, a mob community. And a lot of people advise me, oh, just don't take it seriously. It's the internet. But it's so intertwined with real life. It is real life. So we have to take it seriously. And I think now we're forced to, and there won't be a way back.
Yeah.
And I do think we need to think of how we protect our privacy, how we shape it, instead of just being a consumer. So I'm reading a lot about that.
But do you feel like it's both equal, like if you look at like the importance and like the value, like it's like it has the same value like offline and online, or do you think it's, how do you see that? I'm waiting, by the way, because I don't know if it's my internet, but I've got like a little strange ball. Elfie. One more sec. I think Elfie left the conversation. I'm gonna look for her one more time if she's here. And if she's not, I'm gonna grab Tessel. And we're talking in English, by the way, because some people here can't understand Dutch. So that's why. I'm gonna grab Tessel, and if Elfie returns after a few minutes, we're gonna end with Elfie. So for now, we had two conversations, both with two amazing people, Fatma and Elfie Tromp. And the last one we're gonna talk is Tessel. She's a writer, illustrator, and she's the owner and one of the starters of Pisswife, a really amazing platform. And I'm gonna check one more time if Elfie is here. No. Okay, then we're gonna start with Tessel and perhaps end with Elfie, and we're talking about kind of the philosophical perspective on where we're currently in. So how do you feel like inspired? What inspired you the last time, or what you listened or saw? And Tessel's a Dutch name, yes.
Hi, Kat. Hi.
We kind of like, I don't know, but Elfie left the
I saw it.
So perhaps she's gonna be there in the ending, but for now we're
That's
here
all
with
right.
you. I love the hat, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, I was watching the chat with Elfie. It was really interesting. I really agree with what she was saying about social media and how it's kind of this boomer narrative, right? Of like social media being antisocial. And I just think that's bullshit. So yeah, I really
The whole vibe of like people looking at you when you're looking at your screen at like the dinner table is also an interesting one. Are you being social or not?
Yeah, exactly. But I feel like it is like if we wouldn't have social media right now, then the quarantine would really hit different. And I think that mental health issues would also like go through the roof, basically, because then you're not able to talk to each other at all.
Yeah.
So how is your day? Was it all right, the funeral, or was it too much?
It was strange because what I just told Elfie as well, like I felt like kind of a voyeur because I was looking at someone that is like their grief. So I was like, I was also really sad and like grieving as well. But like it's strange when you're like behind your computer and watching other people. It felt like kind of like a strange,
kind of like voyeuristic, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. So and now like I'm even noticing myself during this conversation. I feel like a bit like fuzzy and like slow, but yeah.
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
So well, yeah, and it's but I can imagine like what you're saying, like, and what Elfie already said, Fatma as well, like the relationship we have with like social media is interesting because, and I think a lot of people notice it also during quarantine, like you feel like if you see someone on the street or you're walking with someone, like it's so like precious and like amazing, and at the same time it's amazing that we can talk through social media and we can look at like amazing live streams from museum like films or your favorite artist or whatever. And like you mentioned, like also for mental health, I think it's amazing we can experience great stuff in other ways. And I think someone commented already, like, there are a lot of suicides since lockdown. In England, someone commented on the live stream. But a lot of people are having a hard time, of course, not only physically but also mentally. Is it for you, like, how do you keep like a clear mind like in these times? How do your days look like? Yeah, I know you a bit, so I know the people who are looking right now.
I don't know if my mind is ever clear, to be honest. I feel like I'm a little bit all over the place, but to be honest, I usually am. Like I think that's just my personality in a sense. But yeah, I think it's very confrontational because I am a person that's always like all over the place mentally, and also pretty much keeping myself busy. Now that sounds very negative because it sounds like I'm like kind of running away from something or whatever, but I really enjoy having multiple projects at once and writing a lot about a lot of different topics and creating a lot of different artworks or whatever. And now that there's a lot less freelance work, there's not that many events to go to. You can't really do as much, and I feel like it is really changing the way I see myself and kind of like making me reevaluate how busy I plan my days.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like on the one hand, it's nice because it forces me to relax and really like be introspective. But on the other hand, it's also difficult because I never spent that much time alone with me and my thoughts. So it's very different than what I'm used to. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's someone mentioned like we're all talking in the Netherlands about the new normal, and someone asked, "Are we in lockdown?" Yeah, we are, but like we're also like the things are getting more and more relaxed, which is also
It's not really a lockdown. It's like
semi.
people are allowed to leave their house, but the government urges you to only leave your house when you really have to. Now, yeah, that I think the government kind of trusts everyone to see for themselves whether going outside is necessary or not.
Yeah.
You're allowed to be together with I don't know how many people again at the minute. It just got like a little less strict last week or something. Yeah.
I read like something else about like single people, but I'll send you the message as well.
Oh yeah, I think I saw it today that single people are allowed to have sex again.
Oh, Elfie's back. So
Ah,
later on with Elfie as well in the conversation.
yeah,
Great.
cool.
Yes.
I'm gonna
But
save and keep watching.
but like but for you, like you're saying you have to get used to it. Like I read somewhere that we're still talking about like the new normal, but
Oh.
someone mentioned is that it's not normal. You have to use the word like abnormal because it's something that
Mm.
it is normal where we're in. It's not like the new. It's like the not the right way to put it.
Yeah.
Is it the same? How do you look at it? Do you find like the routine, the things you do or you think about? Is it like for you like a new way you want to keep on living or keep on being, or is it?
I don't know. I feel like it's also just generally way too early to be stating things like the new normal. Like and people keep on asking on like how everyone's doing, whether you're adjusting, but I feel like I'm not done adjusting. Like I every week is like a new sensation, and
Yeah.
so I feel like a new normal. I really can't wrap my head around that as of now. I feel like the world's definitely gonna change. I think definitely we'll talk about like a post-corona Europe or whatever. Um, but a new normal? I don't know. I don't know about that. Yeah, I think it needs. I think we all need time to kind of like recollect ourselves and the way we see our life. And it's like now is the time of speculation, and now is not the time of retrospect because it's happening right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
a new normal is not really like something that I could say yet.
And you created a lot of different stuff. So you're a writer. You make amazing illustrations, zines. Also one with Pisswife and TittyMag, by the way.
Yes.
Um, what like because you're saying like every day is different. Like, is it also like different in the way you create? Do you see like differences between the work you make and like the topics you choose?
Yes, definitely. For a number of reasons. I think, of course, it's also my job to create stuff and especially writing. So I cannot always choose what I write about. And right now, because of quarantine, partner violence is becoming something that's on the political agenda again because people are stuck at home. So partner violence is now really like playing up again. And in December, I wrote a piece about my experience with an abusive partner. So that was kind of like out there already and like known. I made a documentary about the subject as well. So that's something that I'm working on right now. Like I wrote a couple of articles on that for One World and Vice and Act for Respect, which is an NGO that is, yeah, kind of like trying to combat partner violence for as much as that's possible, of course. And I also make a lot of work like for myself around that subject now that I kind of have the time for that and not like a like a productivity plot behind it. So I wrote a song about this. And I never write songs. It was like the first one I've written in a while. So that was really interesting. And I'm just like making little shits and whatnot for my house. I made this mirror. I don't know if you can see it. I painted this mirror. So I'm just like, because I have so much time on my hands, I'm just making whatever, basically.
And amazing pots, by the way. Flower.
Thanks.
I loved it. But like, and is it something that you see like also because you make a lot, but do you see like a lot of differences like between the work you made before and during this period?
Yeah, it's like more what I feel like making because before I was a lot busier. So it was like if I make something that it's usually because I have to post something on the Piss Life Instagram or because of like a job, you know, like a freelance commission or whatever. And now it's more like I wake up and I'm like, what am I gonna do today? I guess I'm gonna make something. So that yeah, in that sense it's freeing, but it's also like I miss making stuff for other people as well.
Mm, yeah, yeah. And is there something you got inspired by recently? A person or something you read or listened to?
Ooh.
Or looked at?
A lot of inspiration, to be honest. I feel like it's very inspiring to see people cope with this new normal, then if you want to call it that. I feel like it's really interesting to see the different people around me that I knew already before Corona adjust to the new situation. It's like I'm finding out a new part of the people around me, and I think it's really inspiring to see them go on with their lives, create their own stuff. I'm also in a group chat with a bunch of girls from Art Hood Collective who are really thriving in quarantine. Like they're so on top of their shit. Sometimes it's like frightening almost.
I know, they're like on fire.
They're on fire, pushing deadlines, and like they're just really on top of their shit. And I feel like I'm lacking because I'm like all over the place and very chaotic. But it's
For
so
me,
cool.
like the same in that group. I'm like also I love what everyone is doing, but I'm like I'm like really bad in responding in
Yeah, me
time.
too. Me too. And I do like I don't feel obliged or whatever. I don't feel like I'm doing something wrong because I feel like
Yeah,
everyone's coping in a different way. But I feel like
yeah.
the people from Art Food Collective are doing a great job, and they're really inspiring because they're so motivated. And I'm just like, wow, that power, that's insane.
I know it feels like they're carrying the whole fucking wagon, you know?
I
It's like,
know. Yeah. Yeah.
and I'm like on like way in the back somewhere over there.
Well, you know,
But
everyone's
yeah,
doing their own shit. Yeah.
yeah. And is it like oh, it's funny. I don't know. Do you know him or no? I don't. No, no, no. You know he exists. It's a real living person. um, but like, is it for you? Are you being strict on yourself? Like you kind of mentioned it before. Like, do you feel like you have to do something? You have to be creative. You have to create or think or come up with something in a day.
Sometimes I do. Yeah, I'm kind of that person that can be a little bit pushy towards myself, but I try not to be, especially after listening to Fatma speak about this. Like, it's okay to not like make all your deadlines and that kind of stuff. But yeah, I also feel like I take more time out of my day to have like mental health awareness, and especially when I write about partner violence, for instance, if I spend a day writing an article about that, then I take some time to write in my journal, saying like how I feel about it, and that I need to rest from it, and like I don't know, I'll just watch some stupid show on Netflix and chill out. So I'm trying to be more balanced and not as strict for myself.
Do you have advice for people? Like something yeah, an advice or recommendation or something you do yourself?
Mm, yeah, well, journaling, definitely. I really love journaling, and I've been doing it consistently for, I think, 2 years almost. So I would definitely say that, especially in times like these, it's really like valuable to be aware of your own mental health and how you feel during the day. And also because quarantine can kind of feel like one big haze of doing whatever, then it really makes sense to kind of like collect your thoughts and your feelings and put it onto paper, so then later you can also have a more clear image of how you were feeling during that time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's interesting. Kind of like capture these days.
Yeah, I also have an app, 1 second a day, that urges you to record like 1 second snippets of your day, so that you can like watch back your entire month, and it's really nice. It's really nice to like look back at all the fun things you've done over the past weeks, even though they were like little things.
I take like pictures every day with my iPhone, like also from like really like looks like stupid stuff, but then like sometimes just scroll through all my images of like how those weeks have been.
Yeah, that's also a very nice idea. I just love like collecting memories and looking back and like evaluating. I think that's really like important in growth as well.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Tessel. Thank you so much.
I'll see you later.
I see you very soon.
Yeah, very soon.
Monday.
Yes.
Thank you so much. And if people want to know more, they can follow your Instagram or Pisswife's Instagram. They're both really nice and amazing. And thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, we're gonna end with Elfie, and then we're already finished this Titty Talk for this week. I'm gonna grab Elfie one more time. Let me see. She's back. Yeah.
I'm back. So this is, I think, the technical or the digital equivalent of stepping on your shoe or dropping a glass in a cafe. I'm so sorry. I thought I
But it
had
was also like, no,
I
but it was
didn't
so
do
interesting what you were saying. So like Tessel said, we're like, we're like, yes, 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 and
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. We were talking about rituals because you
yeah,
had your first online grieving ceremony, or yeah, because someone had passed away, and you said it was so weird that you were doing that in your kitchen, and then I said it's really, we've actually comprised ourselves, all these fragments that we are in regular life. We
yeah,
get to be it in one place, one time, right here.
yeah,
So it feels schizophrenic, but maybe we are the most real that we've ever been.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And like, it's by the way, Elfie with an F for
Yeah, you can
personal
read
comment.
the name up there.
And like for what I want to know, like for you, like you're a performer as well. You're also like you tell like stories on stage. You write from the amazing stuff you write also like in for big audiences, not only like on yourself and not only writing for like people to read later on, but like you get a lot of energy from the people you see or the people who see you. Like we were talking about like the way no, it's fine. You were talking about like the way you get like energy from your audience and how
I
that changes
do.
as well.
Yeah, and your question is, how do I get it now? Now I'm
Yeah,
like stuck
exactly.
here in this
Yeah.
little screen. So I started a couple of initiatives after the first weeks of picking up all my bad habits. So I started smoking, drinking, sleeping late, staying up late, eating junk. So those are all the bad habits that I collectively started. And then I thought I need to do something constructive, because otherwise I'm going to turn in one big blob.
Yeah.
So I started two things. I started phoning people at night, and reading them poetry. Not just random people, but people that gave their phone number to me through this television show, Vapero Mundo, which has been such a lovely experience, because I get a little peek into people's lives, strangers' lives, and it's so intimate and it's so focused. And I have these little tiny conversations, like 10 minutes, and I read them a poem, and they tell me something about their lives, and it's been so enriching and so endearing, because I'm 34 now, and I have this age in which you can still start over, but then there's a lot of things already closed off or closing off. Like it feels like my life is so many lives not lived.
Mm-hmm.
And I get frustrated with that possibility also, because I want to do so much, and by having these conversations with people from so many different walks of life that I usually wouldn't meet when I would go in my regular, go to a festival, read, do my interview on the radio, meet my friends in the weekend, visit my family, I would not meet all those people. So I'm actually maybe more open to the world than I've ever been, and meeting people more focused in this way. And then the other thing that I started doing is something I really just did for fun, for myself. I thought of this drunk, and I thought it was still a good idea when I was sober. So I read poetry on Instagram Live every Sunday with my drag friend Hoax LeBeau, and we do makeup and we read poetry, and it's hilarious.
It's always the same time, by the way, for people who want to watch it on
Sunday.
It's
Sunday 12:30. And we do glitter eyebrows, makeup, eyeliner, whatever, and we just have a lot of fun. And it's intimate and it's fun, and so I get to, because I love dressing up, I love drag performing. I used to be a dance performer and a drag performer, so I really miss that theatrical stage part, and now I just dress up and then I go to the to the supermarket.
I love it. It's so nice. I'm gonna watch as well this Sunday.
It's a lot of fun. We have a question. Rufaida asks if I can read her poetry. Rufaida, if you DM me your number, I'll call you.
Oh my God, I'm gonna DM you as well.
Well, I got your number, honey.
Hey, but like, and for you, like, do you think we're gonna look at this period kind of like nostalgic as well?
Ooh, nostalgic. I don't think we're gonna be nostalgic in the future where we're all jobless and are not able to pay our rent or have any savings whatsoever. So no, nostalgic, not so much. I think we're gonna look back and see this is where the shit happens.
Yeah.
And this is the defining moment of our generation.
Yeah.
What I do think is how we can handle it or process it is recording it. Tessel said it's not a time for retrospect, but I do think it's a time for recording. So I started, I was already doing a blog, and now I specifically used a news, so like I send out a mailing every week about what I thought or what happened to me. And to read it back, what I wrote a couple of weeks ago, it's like a different person. So you go through these changes so quickly in this pandemic and quarantine crisis that it's hard to believe that you were the same person 4 weeks ago.
How can people apply for the mailing, by the way? How can they?
You can go to my website, elfietromp.nl, and then you can go to tinyletter.com/elfietromp. You can sign up there. Yeah. And I share things that inspire me, that I think are beautiful and worth more eyes. And I write new work and I share it. So I already have this innate feeling of sharing and need to share as well.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
And are you like preparing yourself also for like the day we're gonna spend more time outside, you know? I don't think it's like one day. It's not like
again.
Yes, we can go outside now, but like, do you prepare yourself for like more offline performance and more offline like experience as well?
Well, I do have a theater show planned in September, and hopefully that's going through. I can't. There's like this blockage in my head that if that quits,
Yeah.
Or if that's blocked off, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'll survive. I'll do something else, but I'll be very sad about it. Yes. So there's the kind of a blockage that I don't know how to prepare for that. I'm a very physical person, so I love touching and holding my friends and holding people dear to me, and that is of course off limits. But then I had this clandestine hug with a friend of mine this week, and it was just divine. And I bet you had a clandestine hug somewhere as well. Someone touched you somewhere along the way. Yeah, they did, didn't they? I thought so.
But what? Yeah, but it's so nice. Like eventually, if like someone touches you, it feels like. But it's the same. Like some conversations right now, it feels so like amazing. You know, it's yeah. So I have
Yeah,
to.
so there's this if like we revalue the power of touch. I think
Yeah.
also, well, maybe you can talk some more about that, being a single in the pandemic. Has dating become, of course it's slowed down, but it is going on. Has it been more, I think it's become more romantic, maybe? Is that
Yeah.
true? That you go
Yeah.
on walks instead of just get drunk in a bar and then make out and have one night stands. You have
Yeah. More
like these
like
walks in the
distance
park.
walks or like strange like I had like one weekend that like all my ex-boyfriends texted me in one weekend. I don't know what it was. I think everyone did like a scroll in like their telephone. I don't know why.
It was the horny
Um,
weekends. It was the horny weekends.
I don't know. Was something in the stars? It was like a little, yeah. But yeah, it's more like walking and talking, I guess. And also, if you think about it, like if you have like if you think, okay, I'm gonna kiss or whatever, have sex with this person, and you have like a 2 weeks of quarantine, and if it's like,
Like, is it worth getting your heart broken, or is it worth
yeah,
dying for? And I think is it
exactly,
worth dying for is actually a very good prelude for love. So it's like a Victorian. I think if you're not willing to die for love, is it really worth it? And I think that's I like that idea, and I like the Victorian pace of love right now. But then I'm speaking from the comfort of a relationship, so of course there's a lot of frustration as well about it. So uh,
yeah, but like in a relationship, it can also be like difficult right now, you know. So I think it's for everyone. It can be amazing, but also like a struggle. It can,
definitely,
yeah.
yeah.
Hey, and what is something like you said you get inspiration from different stuff? Is there something you've like listened to, you saw, like you read that was like that inspired you for the last in the last couple of days or weeks?
Oh, um, there's so many things, so it's hard for me to
Yeah.
choose. There's so many things um, that comfort me, but also worry me. And I was listening to this podcast just yesterday, Against Everything with Conor Habib, which is excellent. And he talks with counterculture figures, and he talks with this communist feminist. She's called Sophie Lewis. And she wrote this book, Surrogacy. What's it called? Full Surrogacy, Feminist Against Family. And she pleads for the case that we choose our own family and we choose our own mothers. And now we're so focused with the rules that you have to stay indoors, and that's where most domestic violence, of course, happens. But also, it excludes a lot of queer and people in poverty that don't even have a house or that are expelled from their houses. So the right to choose your own family and the people that you want to shelter with is something that we really need to protect, and we need to protect that right. And it's so weird that this right of going out and meeting each other has been like kind of like captured or taken away from us by the right wing, like these
Yeah.
same people that go protesting about, that they want to go shopping, but
That's something you would recommend right now. This would you listen
no,
to this?
but it is about thinking who you are safe with and who is your
Yeah.
family,
Yeah.
because there is a lot of loneliness out there. And I think we're all at times very lonely.
Yeah.
Have you?
I see
Yeah.
we only have like 15 seconds left in my Instagram counter.
Let's say goodbye.
Elfie, I want to thank you so much, and see you very, very soon.
All right. I love to talk to you.